Buenos días y bienvenidos a todos. Good morning and welcome, everyone. Welcome to a community that is dedicated to providing spiritual tools for living a happy and full life. My name is Karina Shearer, and I am the Spiritual Director and Founding Minister here at the Center for Spiritual Living Puerto Vallarta. If you would like to join us for the live Zoom meeting, please contact me for the link and the password, or check our website, www.cslpv.org, on the weekly talk section. Today is Sunday, November 26th, and we are continuing with our annual theme, Living Out Loud. The topic for this week is Oh My. So one of the books that was suggested for reading this month was Be Here Now by Ram Dass. Two other books of interest are Pleasure Activism, The Politics of Feeling Good by Adrienne Marie Brown, and The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle. So at this time, I'd like to truly welcome everyone once again, including those that are new to our teaching or to our center here in Puerto Vallarta, whether you're on the live Zoom meeting or watching the replay at a later time. We welcome everyone. We teach a philosophy that honors all faith, all traditions. So whatever path you are on, know that it is the right one for you. We teach a philosophy called the Science of Mind, and it's a teaching based on ancient wisdom and new thought. And we offer spiritual tools and principles to promote personal growth. And as I mentioned, we honor diversity in all aspects so that we can appreciate the greatness that each one of us has already within us. When Dr. Ernest Holmes was asked to provide a concise definition of this teaching of the science of mind, he'd replied that it is a correlation of laws of science, opinions of philosophy, and revelations of religion applied to human needs and aspirations. So each week we offer a service with an inspirational message. So I hope that you do continue to come and join us and hang out afterwards for some great conversation with like-minded people. And as we do each week, we start out with our news and updates for our center. So if you're interested in learning more about the Science of Mind teaching, we'll be starting new courses again in January, and we'll have an interesting workshop that we'll be offering later this year. Connect with me or check our website for details. And please let me know if there's a specific course, a workshop, or book study that you'd be interested in taking so that we can plan dates for those as well. And if you would like to have a one-on-one connection for spiritual mind treatment to assist you with whatever changes you are experiencing in life or would like to experience more of, then please connect with me. And if you would like to commit to being a member of the Center for Spiritual Living Puerto Vallarta for this upcoming year, or if you would like to be on our board of trustees, then please contact me so that you can be sent the current application form. I'd also like to remind you to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel and Facebook page. And as we also do each week, let's together review our purpose, vision, and mission statements. We have a grand purpose here each week, and that is to awaken and celebrate diversity and to love and serve our community. We do this by means of our vision, creating the life you desire. And this is supported by our mission to provide spiritual tools for personal growth and transformation. And more on these can be found on our website as well. So when we look more deeply into these ideas of the mundane, the sacred, the profane, we find that there truly is no difference or separation in them. In a watercolor painting, water is added to the different colors so that they mix and blend, becoming new colors altogether. And similarly, when the water of our consciousness is mixed with all the various aspects of life, we realize that everything is the divine expression of the individualized spirit. Ernest Holmes said this: "The study of the science of mind is a study of first cause, spirit, mind, or that invisible essence, that ultimate stuff and intelligence from which everything comes, the power back of creation, the thing itself." So in the declarations of principles, Ernest Holmes says that we believe in the individualization of the spirit in us, and that all people are individualizations of the one spirit. And Holmes didn't differentiate between the various parts of our lives or tell us that only the sacred is the individualization of spirit, but rather he specified that all of every person is sacred. And this means that all parts of ourselves, the sacred, the mundane, and the profane, must be God. There's a place for every color in the palette, just like there's a place for every aspect of God. Thomas Troward wrote this in The Hidden Power: "Because I am what I am, I may be what I will to be. My individuality is one of the modes in which the infinite expresses itself, and therefore I am myself that very power which I find to be the innermost within of all things." And so, despite knowing the idea of oneness, it's hard to embody that knowing in everyday life. We like to categorize our lives into bits and pieces and parts, with everything fitting neatly into tiny little boxes. But that's not the way life works. If there's only one thing going on, as Ernest Holmes says, then every part of our lives must also be that. This includes the parts that we have buried deep inside, the things that we are ashamed of, our past mistakes, our hurts, and our traumas. It even includes those aspects of our personalities and bodies that we wish were different. Knowing that God is all that there is means accepting every part of ourselves as the sacred being that we are, and understanding that we don't need to pick, choose, or categorize one and not the other one. That shy, awkward 6-year-old little girl is still inside of me. And so is the rebellious teenager. And I'm sure that I'm not the only one that was different as a child than as an adult. Although sometimes I like to blend into the wallpaper, so to speak, at a party, or act silly with friends out on a Friday night. I may have many friends from different cultures and backgrounds and different ages, but yet when it comes down to the bare bones of it, we are all still so alike inside. Here's a story from Sharon Fletcher from the Tel Aviv University, and she was a professor there. She wrote, "It was my first day at school. I felt nervous and scared. I went to all my classes with no friends. I felt like no one cared. I listened anxiously to all the lessons and waited for lunch break. Then finally, the bell rang. It was time to talk and have fun. In the lunch lineup, I met a new friend who wore a hijab on her head. And although I am Jewish, we got along fine. And I was so relieved when she said, "Sit with us at our table." She pointed to the one next to the door. So I agreed and took my tray and was about to walk with her across the floor when suddenly I felt a nudge. "Hey, I saw you on the bus," said a tall girl in a long dress. "I see your Jewish star necklace. You should sit with us." At that moment, I looked around, and that's when I noticed, to my surprise, the nations of the world isolating themselves. That's what I saw through my own eyes. The Spanish only sat with the Spanish, the Hindus only with Hindus, the Russians always with Russians, and never the Arabs with the Jews. I saw the reason why war gets started. Everyone sticks to their own kind. The lunchroom was a map of the world. And why was everyone so blinded? And so I turned down this girl and went with the first. And there was no enmity. I met a bridge between two worlds, or I built a bridge between two worlds when I sat with those different from me. And Dennis Merritt Jones says this: "While we may prefer roses over weeds, it doesn't mean one is more sacred than the other. The divine imbues itself equally in all living things, which includes each of us. What value shall we place on all that our eyes gaze upon today?" So as a young child, I was quite chubby. And then as I approached my teenage years, I lost a lot of weight. I would skip breakfast and have a bottle of Coke and a cigarette for lunch. And then at dinner time, I would move food around my plate to make it look like I was eating, only eating a small bit at a time so that my family wouldn't notice. I was always the last to leave the dinner table, and Mom just thought I was a slow eater. And then I'd have to clear the table and wash the dishes after everyone else retreated to the living room to watch TV. It was a perfect excuse to hide that I was actually throwing away half of my dinner. Yet I would find myself criticizing other people for being either too skinny or too overweight. I would judge them for what I myself was. Often we prefer to judge others rather than seeing them as God beings. This judgment is a mirror, shining a light on the parts of ourselves that we haven't yet accepted. It was much easier to repress old beliefs, thoughts, hurts, and other aspects of ourselves and judge others than to look at those parts of ourselves that we don't accept. However, these things cannot be truly released until we bring them to the light and look at them. Once we own and accept those parts of ourselves that we historically felt were unlovable, we find the need to judge others gently falls away. Rather than judging ourselves for judging, we can begin to see our judgment as a tool for healing and growth, allowing ourselves to see the aspects we have previously been unwilling to look at and release them. So practice self-compassion. Anytime you find yourself coming from a place of judgment, look behind the judgment to find what it is within yourself that you haven't yet accepted. And then actively accept that aspect of yourself with love, compassion, and kindness. Thich Nhat Hanh wrote this: "In the sunlight of awareness, everything becomes sacred." So in the world today, it can be challenging to stay present. Distraction comes in many forms, including social media, video games, constant technology at our fingertips, and an ever-growing to-do list. Becoming present often brings to our awareness all the pain and suffering in the world: wars, conflict, violence, neglect, poverty, disease, climate change, and so much more. We are pulled in a million different directions, and it seems like nothing we do can make a real difference on a global scale. And it's in these moments that we are called to remember oneness. We may not be able to see the perfection that exists, but we can trust that it is there. Then we're able to show up to the world consciously, choosing what is mine to do in every moment. Adrienne Marie Brown said this: "Do you already know that your existence, who and how you are, is in and of itself a contribution to the people and place around you? Not after or because you do some particular thing, but simply the miracle of your life." So seeing the perfection that exists at the level of spirit does not allow us to turn away, but rather calls us deeper into action, fully living the sacred, the mundane, and the profane parts of our lives each and every day. It's up to us to find and express all of these aspects in divine balance in our lives. Can we see the beauty of the sacred in the profane? The shock of the profane in the mundane? The routine of the mundane in the sacred? When we open up our watercolor palette to paint a masterpiece, we step fully into our consciousness to see the gift that each color brings and watch as the water turns them into something brand new. And I'll leave you with this quote: "Perhaps the divine nature of things is disclosed to us through our humanity, moment by feeling moment, through the ongoing presence of the mystery we wake in and our intermittent reception of it." And so that brings us to our affirmation for today. Every aspect of life is a sacred expression of spirit. And now is our time for mindfully giving back, where we are spiritually fed. Donations are gratefully received through PayPal or Tithely on our website, www.cslpv.org. You'll find the donate buttons on both the landing page and on the page where you find the replay to the weekly talks. Alternatively, you can still send in a paper check by mailing it to CSLPV number 403, 2125 Birch Road, Kelowna, BC, V1Y8N1. And now, if you would like to join me in our offertory affirmation. I know that my giving blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, and all that I give and receive. I do give eternal thanks for the abundance that is mine to share. So thank you for coming and sharing this time together. And let's continue practicing peace. We can each be a force for peace and nonviolence. Our words and our actions create ripples of peace all around us and beyond. Peaceful living includes acting with compassion, kindness, and consideration. And it also includes standing up against injustice. So may peace and love be with you. Blessings to all. Namaste.